Hey, what's up, guys? Shuckle King here. Sorry it's been a little bit since I've posted on this channel, so my bad. But by the way, here we are with Brawl for All Round 5 pool battles. The first battle I'm going to have is against No Pun Intended. His team consists of Superior, Mudstill, Tornadus T, Necrozma, Cloyster, Porygon 2, Mega Agrod. I believe that's it. Yep. And that's in order of what I believe he's going to bring to least likely what he's going to bring. My team here are going to be pretty quick. Again, my team is Greninja, Blacephalon, Hawlucha, Tapu Koko, Uxie, Medicham, and I did not bring Gligar or Komala. So the first mon I have is Greninja with enough speed to outspeed the Torn T, Toxic Spikes, Dark Pulse, U-Turn, and Surf. He does not have a grounded poison, so Toxic Spikes are pretty free in this match. He does have ways of removal with Superior, Torn T, or Cloyster, but it would be very nice chip if I can get those up. Otherwise, Stab, Dark Pulse, and Surf hit his team pretty hard otherwise. And U-Turn is there in case I want to get out. Metronome, I really didn't need any item in particular here. I could have gone with like Focus Sash or Leftovers or whatever, but Metronome is cool to get increased damage on like a Necrozma that wants to set up Moonlights and maybe has a Calm Minder up. And that way I can threaten it out a little bit more. Next I have Blacephalon at Choice Specs with enough speed to outspeed a Porygon Z max speed. And the rest in a modest Choice Specs that's going to hit his team really hard with Fire Blast or Flamethrower. I have Shadow Ball and Mind Blown in case I really want a strong attack and I don't want to miss with Fire Blast. Shadow Ball hits the Necrozma a little bit harder, but otherwise I can really fire off fire moves and do pretty well against this team because he does not have a fire resist. Next I have Hawlucha, High Jump Kick, Acrobatics, Swords Dance, and Taunt with enough speed to outspeed a Porygon Z, and also in the electric terrain I will outspeed a Agility Porygon Z. High Jump Kick hits his team pretty hard besides like the Torn T and the Necrozma, in which I have Acrobatics for both of them. Taunt is there in case it's like a Roar Mudstill or a Roar Mega Aggron that wants to try to get me out of there. I can prevent them from doing that, and if I can get a Swords Dance up, I pretty much win the game. Next I have Tapu Koko with enough speed again to outspeed the Torn T. Thunderbolt, he does not have a ground resist besides Mudstill, for which I have Nature's Madness plus Grass Knot to knock it out. Nature's Madness plus Tapping EMZ to bring the opponent down to 25% health instead of 50%, and U-Turn for momentum in case a Mudstill wants to come in on me. Next I have Uxie. I have Papa Berry with Stealth Rock, Toxic U-Turn, and Thunder Wave with Max Defense. Max Defense is there for like Mudstill, Mega Aggron, and can take a hit from pretty well. Otherwise it's not going to do a whole lot this match, Uxie. I'm going to Toxic like the Necrozma or the Mudstill, and I'm going to Thunder Wave the Superior or the Torn T or the Cloyster or anything that has a problem with speed, and U-Turn just to get out of there. And the last mon I have is Mega Medicham with enough speed again to outspeed the Porygon Z. The rest in attack and a little bit of bulk with Sub, High Jump Kick, Bullet Punch, and Drain Punch. High Jump Kick, he does not have a great answer. Torn T could die after rocks to it, and it's certainly going to die with a High Jump Kick plus Bullet Punch after rocks. Even with no rocks, I'm pretty sure it has a good chance to kill with that combination if it switches in. And Drain Punch to gain some HP throughout the match. So that's my team. Let's see how it does in the battle. Alright, as we can see with the team that he brought, no pun intended, I'll bring Superior or Mega Aggron. Not surprised about Mega Aggron not coming just because I have two fighting types plus Blacephalon. Superior, I'm a little bit more surprised. I guess I have Blacephalon that can do a lot of damage to it if I'm Scarfed. And Hawlucha can outspeed and kill it under the terrain. So I guess I'm not terribly surprised, but I thought it still had a pretty good matchup against like Greninja and such. So I'm going to lead with my Greninja. Try to get Toxic Spikes up and see what he decides to lead with. If his only rockers are Necrozma or, I guess, Torn T or Mudstill, anything but the Torn T I can do a ton of damage to, and on the Torn T I can U-turn out and go into Koko or Uxie with no problem. So right here, I'm going to go for the Toxic Spikes. He goes for the Tri-Attack and kills me. Not the most ideal situation, but I know that he's Choice Scarfed, so I can bring in my Blacephalon. However, I know he's going to go into his Incineroar here, so I'm going to make the double into Medicham to get a free Mega off, which is certainly very nice. And at this point, he's going to go for the Fake Out just to get some chip damage on me and get to crit. So at this point, I lose an additional 8-10% damage that I wouldn't have lost otherwise. I probably would have felt pretty safe going for a substitute at this point, but if I go for the sub and then he brings in a mon that has a Rocky Helmet, I'm going to be chipped down a lot. So I don't really want that, so I'm going to just attack what's in front of me and go for the high jump kick and get the kill, unless he Soka Sash. He goes into Mudstell, which I know I can 2-hit KO, but I do miss the high jump kick, which is very unfortunate. I can't sub at this point. If I go for the Drain Punch, he's going to knock me out with an Earthquake or whatever move. I don't have the greatest switch-ins either. I could go into Uxie, but I already have my Medicham in here, so I might as well get as much chip off as possible. And getting the chip off is also good for my Coco to do well later in the match. So I do connect. He has a very defensive spread based on that damage. And I get chipped by the Rocky Helmet, and I die to an Earthquake. So my Medicham was not able to defeat this Mudsdale, which is really, really bad. But my Tapu Koko can come in and revenge it, because I know it's not a Rindo Berry. But I'm going to go into Blacephalon and just go for a Fire Blast. I know the Incineroar is coming in, but if I can do as much damage as possible to it, that's good information to know. Based on his damage, as I predicted, he is a max HP, max attack, Assault Vest set. He's going to go for the Dark move, but I can go into Uxie and take 2 hits, really no problem. Go for the knockoff, which is fine. And at this point, as you can see, I'm going to go for my Stealth Rocks. Yes. So predicting him to do some move. He could have either, based on this move, I thought he was going to either defog or go for the Tailwind. Tailwind is nice because he would outspeed my Tapu Koko that way. So I probably should have Thunder Waved, but instead I just U-turn as I go into my Tapu Koko because I'm pretty confident I can take any one hit. So I'm going to go for that, and as you can see here, the Tornchi is going to stand and fire off a Sludge Wave, which does decent amount of damage, but does not knock me out. But he gets the Poison. So obviously the Poison's also really bad because I am not able to live after this amount of damage, and I'm going to die to the Poison. So that is also not that great. I lost one of my most potent offensive threats. However, I do still have Hawlucha in the back, but that Necrozma is still sitting at full, which is kind of preventing my Hawlucha from doing very well. So my Koko would have certainly been nice to have another answer to deal with that Necrozma, because really only Blacephalon is my answer to it. So I'm going to die, which is pretty bad, but I still have ways around this, and I'm going to go into my Uxie at this point. Kind of predicting the Cloyster, so I'm going to go for a Thunder Wave and try to slow it down. He also has that Tailwind, so he wouldn't have outsped my Hawlucha, but I wouldn't have been able to get a Swords Dance up on this. However, I do miss the Thunder Wave on the Cloyster, which really isn't the biggest deal in the world, just because he's probably going to knock me out on my next move with whatever attack he wants to go for, and then without the Tailwind, I would outspeed with my Hawlucha. Take some Ice Shard damage, but kill him in return. He makes a good play, though, and goes for the Shell Smash, but at this point, I'm going to go for the U-turn. I do this, again, as I said before, because if I go into a Hawlucha, I can take any one hit and knock it out. I'm not going to be able to get a Swords Dance up, but at least I'm going to have this out of the way, and I still have a chance to win. So I'm going to go into Hawlucha, activate my Electric Seed. He's going to go to free Ice Shard, not knock me out, and I'm going to in turn knock him out with Acrobatics. Could have gone for the high jump kick there, but Acrobatics was almost guaranteed the kill at that range, so I figured I would risk it versus not risking the chance to miss with a high jump kick, which would have definitely been probably would have been 100% good game at that point. So he's going to go to his Necrozma. At this point, I don't want it trying to set up on me, so I'm going to go for the Taunt, just because I know my Blacephalon is going to be able to kill this set, unless he's like a assault vest set Necrozma, which I highly doubted. So I taunt, but he goes for this Photon Geyser and knocks me out. Acrobatics would have done decent damage, but wouldn't have made that much of a difference. So my only chance to win is going to Blacephalon, go for a bunch of Fire Blast, get some Beast Boosts, and win. So I knock out the Blacephalon, which is cool. Goes into Porygon Z. At this point, he has about a 2/3 chance to knock me out with Dark Pulse. But I figured I've been pretty unlucky already this match, so hopefully luck could be on my side at this point. So he goes for the Dark Pulse and he knocks me out. And that's going to be a good game for the first game. He's going to obviously knock out my Uxie. So that is a 3-0 loss for me. So very unfortunate hacks there. But it happened. So I just got to try to win my next 3 games to pretty much guarantee myself into past pools. So let's see what game 2 brings us.
Alright, here we are for the second battle and team builder against Chris. Now, this is pretty much a must-win for me as I lost my first game. Chris's team is, from most likely to least likely, I think he'll bring Torn T, Tyranitar, Ambipom, Mega Gallade, Piloswine, Dragalge, Tangela, and Breloom. My team again is Hawlucha, Greninja, Tapu Koko, Uxie, Medicham, Gligar. I did not bring Blacephalon just because Tyranitar pretty much shuts that down and Dragalge takes it pretty easily, and did not bring Kamala because I don't really have spikes, so hazards aren't that big of a deal for me. So first mon I have, Hawlucha, pretty much destroys his team with acrobatics plus a high jump kick, drain punches in case I don't want to miss or protect or such. The little bit of speed is to add speed to Choice Scarf Torn T. If he really wants to bring that, he could bring like a max speed plus Tailwind, but I wouldn't be able to outspeed that regardless. So this is the spread I went with. Should be bulky enough to take most hits from like an Ambipom or a Tyranitar, even a Piloswine with my +1 defense. Next I got Greninja with Life Orb, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Spikes, and U-Turn. I do have Spikes actually on this team, but I also have Defog, just because Spikes aren't that big of a deal on this team. Really, I have Greninja for Ice Beam plus Hydro Pump, because that hits this team for super effective coverage against like the Torn T, the Tyranitar, the 2 grass types he has, Dragalge, Piloswine. Mega Gallade can take it alright. Ambipom's probably not going to take too many hits, especially after one layer of spikes or a stealth rock up. U-turn is there just to get out. Next I have Tapu Koko with enough speed as well, probably the same speed with Greninja to outspeed Tornadus T. This set allows me with Nature's Madness plus Grass Knot to kill Piloswine, and Nature's Madness plus Brave Bird to kill like a special defensive Tangela or a Dragalge. Volt Switch to gain momentum. I didn't really need the extra damage from Thunderbolt. Grass Knot also hits the Tyranitar decently. Next I have Uxie, which is basically my Mega Gallade answer. Stealth Rocks, U-turn for Momentum Foul Play to hit that Mega Gallade if it wants to try to set a Swords Dance up on me, and Psychic to hit the Dragalge. Now I have Metal Herb in case like Torn T is a taunt set, because his hazard removal is not that great. It really is only the Torn T. So if I can get rocks up 100% guaranteed, that'd be cool. Even if I'm forced to defog later, that'll be alright. I am running defog primarily because I feel like he'll bring Toxic Spikes to Dragalge. But you'll see that with Gligar. Next I have Mega Medicham. It's enough speed to outspeed Breloom, and then the rest in bulk, which is really cool. So I can run Adamant, that's going to hit like a nuke. Secco Cut is to hit like the Mega Gallade and the Dragalge. Everything else, High Jump Kick is going to destroy lives. High Jump Kick plus Bullet Punch easily knocks out a Torn T, unless he's like max defensive. But after rocks, I don't believe it's going to be taking those hits that well. And the last one I have is Gligar, which is max special defensive to take on the Torn T and also take on the Dragalge pretty well. Earthquake to hit the Dragalge for super effective damage, Toxic to hit the Torn T, Roost, and Defog. So that's my team. Let's see how well it does in the match. Alright, as we see from Chris's team here, I did predict all 6 mons he was going to bring. I was pretty sure he was not going to bring the 2 grass types, just because I do have Hawlucha, and I guess even Blacephalon. So looking at this lead matchup, going to go with Uxie, my dedicated lead to get rocks up. He can't do anything about it, even if he's Taunt Tornadus. So let's see what he does. He decides to lead with the Gallade, which is perfect for me, because I can get rocks up no matter what. And he's going to go for the knockoff, and that doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So based off that, predicting he's more of a defensive spread, or maybe a max HP, max speed spread with a bulk up. So that's something I got to watch out for later on. He's going to switch out, try to pursue, trap me, I'm guessing, with Tyranitar, or just get up his own rocks. And I go for the foul play. Don't do a whole lot of damage. Based on this, I'm predicting like max HP and max attack. So that's good information. I know my Gligar's probably going to outspeed, even with no speed investment. And I'm also going to outspeed, so I can U-turn out of there pretty safely. He does not go for the Pursuit or Crunch, which is nice. And predicting to not go for the Ice move, I just go into Gligar, take that Crunch, get a defense drop. Based on this damage, I know he's max attack for sure. So I'm assuming he's going to go for an Ice Punch here to knock out my Gligar, and my Earthquake is not going to knock out the Tyranitar from this range. And Gligar is still pretty useful to take on the Tornadus plus the Gregalgy if I can get a Roost up. So I'm going to get on out of there and go into Medicham, predicting the Ice Punch. I guess I could have gone into Greninja, but that would have been, going into Medicham is also fairly risky. But I wanted my Uxie to get a foul play off on the Mega Gallade later on. And Greninja, I felt like, did more damage in this game than Mega Medicham, though Mega Medicham also does a ton of work. I have a very good matchup in this game. Let's see if I blow it or not. So I can pretty safely go probably for the Drain Punch, I'm going to guess. Just so I don't want a chance to miss. And I do not a whole lot of damage to this Mega Gallade. I do 29%, which is a decent amount for a resisted hit, but I'm also adamant, so I'm pretty sure he's like a max HP, max defensive spread to take on my Mega Medicham, which is a pretty cool set. So I'm forced to get out of here. So I'm going to go into my Uxie, which is designated to take it on. He goes for the Wish, which is a pretty cool set there. So he's going to go for the knockoff, as I am going to go for the U-turn. I knew foul play wasn't going to kill there, so there wasn't any point trying to stay on this. And I can grab him at him in this regard. So I'm going to go into Coco, and he's max defensive, max specially defensive, so I'm going to scare him out. And I'm pretty safe to go for my my Nature's Madness, just because he could either stay in and Wish again and Protect, which would be unfortunate. He could have gone into Piloswine, or he could have gone into Dragalge. I think there really is only 3 plays, because Tyranitar is going to get 2 KO'd by Thunderbolt, especially after rocks. So I go for the Tapu Neem Z and get this Piloswine super low to the point where a Grass Knot's going to easily take it out. So that's great for me. He's not going to have rocks on my side of the field, unless his Tyranitar has rocks, which I'm kind of doubting at this point. So he goes into Dragalge. I could get 50% off, but my Gligar is my 100% answer to Dragalge, so I'm going to go right into that. And he goes for the Toxic Spikes. So I figured he did bring it, and he did bring it, so I'm going to get rid of those Toxic Spikes right away, go for the Defog, because a lot of my team is affected by Toxic Spikes. I don't have to worry about that. I'm also not terribly worried about this Torrentee. I'm not really expecting them to have HP Ice. So I'm okay staying in and getting off a Roost. So he goes for the U-turn, goes on a Mega Gallade, which is a big threat, but I do have my Uxie for it. So I'm going to switch right into that as he goes for the knockoff. So he is going to be able to 2KO me. Unfortunately, I can't get rocks up to chip down the Torrentee, which would be helpful for my Medicham and my Hawlucha, but I'm okay with that. I can live with it. So I'm going to go into my Tapu Koko, knowing he's not max Spit F. I can threaten him out and go for the Nature's Madness. It would have caught the Dragalge for decent damage as well. Would have chipped it down a lot with a Volt Switch plus Nature's Madness. But I am going to just Volt Switch here and go into Medicham for free. And I'm going to get a kill at this point. I guess you could go into Torn, but he's really not going to appreciate taking a Adamant Psycho Cut. And as you can see here, even a max physically defensive Gallade goes down to a Psycho Cut, which is insane damage right there. So he goes into his Ambipom, predicting the Fake Out or Return or whatever to knock me out. I'm going to go into my Gligar, so I'm pretty sure I could take 2 hits. Goes for the knockoff, gets rid of my Eviolite, predicting him to go for the Ice Punch to kill me, but he goes for the Tail Slap, which is fine. I'm basically sacking off my Gligar at this point, because everything else is more useful. And I hit an Earthquake and get a crit. Now, his nickname is Flinch because he was, what's the King's Rock, which gives you the 10% flinch every time. So I'm very confident that's what his set was. So not only did he not get a flinch, I also got a crit on him. So I got pretty lucky there. But I was sacking him off my Gligar because I could revenge kill it pretty easily. But that's okay. So my Gligar goes down. I'm not too afraid of Dragalge at this point. And going to my Tapu Koko. It's a very, very free Volt Switch. I go for Protect, I guess, to lower the amount of electric terrain turns, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. So I am able to knock it out and go into my Greninja. Greninja was the least useful between Greninja, Medicham, and Hawlucha. And I also want to get some chip damage on this Tyranitar. I would normally kill it with Surf, but I'm assuming he went into it because he is at Zolfest and is able to knock me out. But even if he does, I'm okay with this. I'm pretty sure my Hawlucha should be able to live any one hit and set up a Swords Dance. And I didn't go into Greninja go into Hawlucha initially because the Torrentee could do a lot of damage. So he knocks me out with Superpower, which is even better because I can set up a Swords Dance on this Tyranitar. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot to me. So it gives me a free opportunity to set up a Swords Dance. And we'll see what he does here. He does go into Tornadus. Based on that he was a leftover spread, I'm guessing he's going to be more bulky and could take a +2 acrobatics. I'm sure he would EV that. Maybe even after rocks. We'll see. So I'm going to go for the acrobatics. And it's probably borderline to kill after rocks. But he's going to go for the air slash. And with all my bulk, I am actually able to live that, which is cool. At this range, I could knock him out with a Drain Punch. And he might want to try to save this 20 later on, so I'm going to go for the Drain Punch, and I get enough HP where I'm not going to die to the sand, which is pretty much going to seal the deal for me, because there's only one turn of sand left, and I'm able to go for acrobatics twice, and kill his last 2 remaining ones. So good game, Chris. I had a really, really good matchup, but it happens in these types of 8 Pokemon format, and I got hacked my first game, so I don't feel too bad. But hopefully I can win my last 2 games and advance past pools. So let's see how well I do in game number 3. Alright, here's my third team against a blue Terrakion. I'm 1-1 right now, and probably need 2 wins to advance past pools. His team, from what I expect to bring, consists of Zygarde, Stunfisk, Mega Diancie, Starmie, Pangoro, Skarmory, Amoonguss, Alomomola. Stunfisk is there just because it pretty hard counters Tapu Koko and Hawlucha, so I fully expect that to come. Amoonguss Alomomola has a hard time coming against my team with all the setup that I have, and like Alomomola can't handle even like Blacephalon that well. And Amoonguss gets kind of bought by Medicham plus Hawlucha, so I really don't expect either of those to come. So my team, I have Koko, Medicham, Greninja, Gligar, Hawlucha, Blacephalon, and I did not bring Uxie or Kamala. So first I have Tapu Koko with a Volt Switch, Brave Bird, Ironhead, Dazzling Gleam with an interesting spread. First to outspeed the Starmie. Next with the special attack, I can 2-hit KO Zygarde with Dazzling Gleam. If it switches in and I go for Dazzling Gleam, I should be able to 2-hit KO it unless he has a lot of bulk. That attack allows me to kill Mega Diancie with an Iron Head, and allows me to nuke the Amoonguss with a Flying Brave Bird, or Z Brave Bird. I am hard countered by Stunfisk. I could have gone Tapu Z plus, but the problem with that was I think that plus like Hidden Power Ice or Grass Knot wouldn't be able to kill Stunfisk, or it'd be too close a roll for me to chance. So Stunfisk is a really hard counter to a Tapu Koko, so I couldn't really risk that. So I'm okay with it being countered, and I have other things to handle Stunfisk. Next I have Medicham, which is also a cool set. The 4 speed actually allows me to outspeed max speed Pangoro, which is cool. Now with this attack, if I get up to +1, my high jump kick is going to 2-hit KO the Skarmory, which is nice. With my bulk, if I can get a +1 bulk up, my defense will allow me to take a liquidation from a Alomomola, and Scald is never going to break my sub, which is hopefully I'm going to try to set up on that if he does decide to bring it. But otherwise, ice coverage plus fighting coverage does a ton to his team. Ice Punch for the Amoonguss, Ice Punch also for the and for the Zygarde, it does more damage too, because I won't be able to one-hit KO with High Jump Kick. Next I have Greninja, also a really nice mon, also with the speed to add speed. Starmie, Surf, Ice Beam hits his team very hard, except for the, well, Stunfisk, especially defensive, can take it alright. And Amoonguss can take it okay if it's a Assault Vest. Alomomola can also take these hits, but it's going to be Spikes fodder. I'm going to set up all Spikes on Alomomola if he decides to have it, which is going to be problematic for him. Next I have Gligar, special defensive like my second game. Takes on the Stunfisk and the Mega Diancie very well. It pretty much hard counters them both, unless a Mega Diancie has Hidden Power Ice. But even if Stunfisk has Hidden Power Ice, I'm going to be able to take it on very easily. I have Hawlucha. It's actually a lot of speed plus Unburden this week. This will allow me to add speed Rock Polish, Max Speed Mega Diancie if he decides to bring it, because a very offensive spread like that could do a lot of damage to my team. It would also add speed like Blacephalon. And Iron Head is going to guaranteed kill it. Acrobatics to hit like the Amoonguss, and High Jump Kick really hits the rest of his team. Last I have Blacephalon at Choice Scarf with enough speed to outspeed Zygarde, so even if he gets a +1 DD up, I should be able to revenge kill pretty easily with Hidden Power Ice. And Fire Cover assists his team pretty hard, except for Mega Diancie and Alomomola, for which I have Shadow Ball. So let's see how well this team does in the match. Alright, as we can see from a blue Tracky on the team, he does not bring the Pangoro. A little bit surprised because it's like an Assault Vest set would do well against Blacephalon plus Uxie. But not terribly surprised. I do have Medicham and Hawlucha and Coco, and Amoonguss doesn't come, which I'm not surprised at all. Looking at this matchup, I feel like Hawlucha has a decent chance to win. Blacephalon can clean up late game, and Medicham's going to be a big problem to the Alomomola. So I'm going to lead off with my Greninja, maybe get some spikes up, pressure the Skarmory, plus maybe a Mega Diancie. There's his 2 Stealth Rockers. He could also bring Stunfisk, and at that point I have to switch out of my Gligar, so I'm okay with leading with Greninja if that's the case. So I'm going to go right for the spikes I set on Alomomola. It's very easy to do that, but he goes for the Wake Up Slap, which is pretty cool prep. Does not a lot of damage though, which is pretty sad, but I could get a second spike up, but then I'd be pretty low, and I really don't want that to happen, so I'm going to U-turn on out of here and go into my Medicham because he's probably not going to go for the Skull at this point. Goes for the knockoff, again, does nothing. So I'm pretty safe here to go for the substitute, assuming he can't break my sub with anything, unless he has Liquidation. So we'll see. He actually does have the Scald, but does not break my sub, which is great. And at this point, I'm going to just High Jump Kick and see how much damage I do. And I do a ton of damage there. Goes for the Scald, which is cool. I didn't go for the Bulk up there just because, because Scald would be able to 2-hit KO my sub regardless. But if I substitute a second time, and then he protects if I go for a High Jump Kick, then I lose my Medicham for nothing. So that's kind of the risk to play substitute Medicham without Drain Punch or Recover. So I generally don't try to run that. But because he's low enough HP, but not low enough for my Ice Punch, I have to go over to High Jump Kick, but fortunately I hit. He does have Aqua Jet though and breaks my sub, which is pretty cool, but very annoying for sure. 4 attacks Alomomola. So I'm in a tough spot here. I don't have the greatest switch into Starmie, so I'm going to go stay in and sack it off, but he actually misses a Hydro Pump, which is pretty sucky on his part, just because High Jump Kick does a ton of damage. Medicham was good. I mean, it would do alright against like the Skarmory. The Stunfisk could paralyze it though. Zygarde could E-Speed revenge it, maybe, if I get a little bit more chip off, and the Mega Diancie was also there and I don't have Bullet Punch. So I was going to sack off this Medicham. Very unfortunate I get that damage on Starmie, but I'll take it. Going to Greninja, in case he's Scarfed, I'll be able to take the hit, or if he's not Scarfed, I'm going to be able to revenge kill it. So I'm going to go for the U-turn and knock out the Starmie, which is great for me. 5 on 4, and I still have a lot of my offensive pressure. So I'm going to my Coco, expecting the Stunfisk to come out, which is fine because I have a 100% answer to that in my Gligar. And from here, my Gligar could set up rocks before the Mega Diancie comes in. So I'm going to go right for a Toxic here, actually, instead of rocks. Just scouting out if he has like a Hidden Power Ice or whatever coverage move he has to hit my Gligar. And if he went into Skarmory there, it wasn't that big of a deal. I could just set up rocks on that. And if I Toxic and hit the Diancie, that would also be very cool. So Toxic was a pretty low risk play there. So he goes to the Earth Power. Not really sure why he did that. Like, even if you predict, I guess I wouldn't go into Coco. I wouldn't go into Blacephalon or Greninja. And if I went into Hawlucha, that would also be bad. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there. Because this was my 100% answer to a Stunfisk. Unless he had nothing to hit me with. I'm going to go for the Toxic again, predicting the Mega Diancie to maybe come out. But again, really no risk there because I could just roost up on the Stunfisk if he did stay in. But this is an opportunity for me to get up my rocks as he goes for the Brave Bird and does not do a whole lot of damage. So taking this opportunity here, I'm going to switch out on my Coco just because, again, even if he goes in a Stunfisk, I have 100% answering Gligar. Not too concerned about it at all, and I can kill the rest of his team with this Coco with the rocks plus the spikes on that Zygarde. He goes to the Whirlwind and gets me in a Gligar, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I can just roost up and not really have to deal with it that badly, and be at higher health in case the Stunfisk does have a Hidden Power Ice and didn't reveal it yet for some reason. And now I predict the Whirlwind and go for the Toxic just to burn a turn, really. I get drawn in the Greninja, which isn't the greatest, but I could just surf and do as much damage to this as possible. If he tries to switch in anything else, it's going to take a ton of damage. I'm not going to be able to knock out this Skarmory, but if I can get it low enough, then I don't have to worry about all this Whirlwind chip damage, especially because I don't want the Hawlucha to come out, or the Blacephalon. So he does knock me out there and gives me easy kill with Tapu Koko. I can go for the Dazzling Gleam, so that's going to kill at this range, and I would do a little bit more chip on the Stunfisk. So at this point, he's down pretty low. He's going to go in his Diancie to try to get a play up, but I do have the Iron Head, so based on the chip damage from the hazards, this Iron Head is easily going to knock out the Mega Diancie, which is super cool. Then he goes into an Stunfisk, which maybe he should have done before, but he was on the back foot, so he was trying to make a play, which is definitely fine. When I go into my Gligar, this was a little bit of an iffy play here, just because he could have easily doubled into the Zygarde, because I really have nothing to touch. The Stunfisk and a Gligar on a Zygarde can be problematic, especially if he's like a sub-DD set. But I was okay to take that risk. I go into Gligar, go for the Roost, stay as healthy as possible, go for the Toxic. Now at this point, I want to make sure my Gligar is not in on the Zygarde when it comes in. I don't want to give that a free switch at all. So I'm going to just Roost, stay in with my Gligar. I probably should have Toxic there in case I was predicting the Zygarde. So I'm going to go for the Toxic again, predicting the switch. I'm okay with this Stunfisk taking me out, as long as I get a free switch into something to kill this Zygarde. So I'm going to actually switch out and go into my Coco, because I don't want this Stunfisk to die on my Gligar. So he goes to the Earth Power, knocks out my Coco. I'm perfectly fine with that one, because I get the Electric Terrain up, so Hawlucha has the speed and the bulk to outspeed the Zygarde. And I get a free switch into my Blacephalon, who will outspeed because he's Choice Scarfed. Even if he tries to Dragon Dance up on me, I will be able to 2-hit KO it, and he can't do anything about it. So he goes into his Zygarde here. His probably only play he thinks is to Dragon Dance and hopefully try to sweep me in that regard. Hidden Power Ice do a ton of damage, do not knock it out, and he does go for the Dragon Dance. So that's going to be a good game for me. Good game, Blue Terrakion. 2-1 right now. One more win will pretty much put me in a 100% chance to make it past pools. So let's see if I do that here. Alright, here's the last game against Wilder. Now, I thought I wasn't going to even play this game because nobody heard from him in our pools until about 3 hours before the deadline. So we had to make teams really quick and then play up all of us. And then Blue Terrakion found out they probably were going to be eliminated, assuming Wilder was going to forfeit their games. So Blue Terrakion also forfeited out of the tournament. So with Wilder coming back in last second, we weren't sure how that was going to work out in terms of activity and such. But it was a game I had prepped, so I'm definitely fine with this. Wilder's team consists of, again, from most likely, bring the least likely for me, would be Mega Diancie, Zygarde, Vaporeon, Tangrowth, Magneton, Volcarona, Kangaskhan, and Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz isn't that great just because I have Koko, and Medicham can do a lot of damage. Physically defensive is not going to help with Medicham, and Hawlucha can set up on its face pretty easily, especially if I have Taunt. Other than that, Mega Diancie's pretty scary, and Zygarde, kind of similar to a team we saw before there. But the first mon I have, again, I have Hawlucha, Tapu Koko, Medicham, Greninja, Kamala, Uxie. I did not bring a Blacephalon in this match. Mega Diancie was kind of annoying to it. I had different ways to check Zygarde. Vaporeon counters it pretty well, especially defensive. So I felt like that was holding it back a little bit. And the other mon that I did not bring was Gligar. I could have brought out like a special defensive set again, but Volcarona still does a ton of damage to it. It would have been a decent answer to Magneton. I honestly felt like I had a pretty good matchup, so I could have brought just about anything on my team. But I also kind of wanted to try Kamal and see if it was any good or not. That's why I brought it this match. Hawlucha is here. Don't need any speed investment really for his team. I will be outspeed by Rock Polish Mega Diancie, but I have ways around that for this team, so I'm okay with that. I'm just a standard bulky Swords Dance, high acrobatics, high jump kick, and drain punch to recover some HP. Next I have Tapu Koko, which is modest, and max speed actually allows me to outspeed modest max speed Magneton if he doesn't decide to bring that. Timid I'll still be outsped by, but I'm not too afraid of Magneton because I do have Roost, so I could Roost all at least somewhat. Dazzling Gleam hits the Zygarde super hard. I don't know if it knocks it out, but it comes very close. So if I get any like rocks damage once or twice on it, that'll certainly knock it out. Next I have Medicham, max speed to a speed type Volcarona, Ice Punch to hit the Zygarde and kill it, High Jump Kick to hit basically his whole team, Bullet Punch is there to pick off the Mega Diancie, and then the Headbutt is a safer option on, say, the Vaporeon, because that could easily run Protect. Next I have Greninja, and the crux of this team is actually based around getting Toxic Spikes up. This Greninja, the same speed allows me to outspeed Modest Scarf the Magneton, if I feel like he's going to bring that. And if I can scout to figure out that is his bred, then that's good information to know. But I'm probably not going to be staying in on Magneton unless I know he's not Scarfed. Sturf Ice Beam, again, hits his team very hard except for the Vaporeon. But if I can get Toxic Spikes up and Taunt, then at least he's not going to be able to Wish, Protect, and I have a very good answer to a Vaporeon in my Kamala. Toxic Spikes and Taunt also prevents the Mandibuzz from going for Defog. And a Toxic Spikes hits all the rest of his team except for Magneton. Next I have Kamala, which is Wish Protect, Rock Slide U-Turn with max special defense. A little bit of an interesting spread, but I can take on Vaporeon just because I won't be Skull Burned, and I can take on Tangrowth pretty easily. Wish Protect and get my teammates healed up. No speed to make sure I'm slower than a Tangrowth so I can get free momentum on something. And Rock Slide is there to kill the Volcarona, because I don't want that to be alive, and it can take a +1 hit. Next I have Uxie with a Stealth Rock, and basically 3 moves to make sure I'm not set up fodder for his team. Iron Tail for that Mega Diancie, Ice Punch is there for that Zygarde, and U-Turn is there to get out of a Volcarona and go into my Kamala and kill with Rock Slide. So let's see how well this team does in the match. Alright, here we are for the match. As we can see here, he does not bring his Magneton, which is pretty cool. I have pretty free reign with my Tapu Koko. I just gotta watch out for the Zygarde. But if I get a little bit of chip damage on that, then I should be able to knock it out. So I'm not too afraid of that. And he does not bring Kangaskhan, which I'm not too surprised about, because Kanga's kind of weird on this team, to be honest. So going into this, Hawlucha does pretty well. If I can get a Sword Stance up, which I probably can against the Mandibuzz, the Tangrowth, the Vaporeon, and he has his 3 hard hitters, setup hitters, so Uxie's got to watch out for that. And Kamala should be able to take on the Volcarona, plus the Vaporeon, plus the Tangrowth. So I'm going to start this match off with the Greninja, just to try to get some Toxic Spikes up. Really the only lead where it doesn't work out for me is this Tangrowth, just because I can Toxic Spike on Amanda Buzz, I could surf the Anti and kill it, I can surf the Volcarona, and I can Ice Beam the Zygarde. So I cannot kill this Tangrowth with Ice Beam, so I'm forced to switch out here. So I'm going to go into my counter, which is Kamala, and as you see here, he goes to the Giga Drain, does not a whole lot of damage, which is very cool. I can't do much to this at all. I need Toxic Spikes in the field to chip it down, but what I am going to do is go for the U-turn, get on out of here and try to get some momentum. So I'm going to go into Uxie. And what this allows me to do is to get up Stealth Rocks, which is super nice to chip down that Volcarona a lot. Goes for the knockoff and gets a crit. A little bit unfortunate, but is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. Now he probably wants to try to get his Manda Buzz in and get rid of those rocks. So I'm going to try to prevent that from happening if I can. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to go for the U-turn and go to my Kamala. Now I do this because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to live 2 hits, as I do pretty easily. I can wish up and get a little bit more health on this to take on the Vaporeon a little bit better, maybe take a hit from the Volcarona. So I'm going to wish up. Protect is pretty obvious, but I can't really do much on the switch anyway unless I predict the Volcarona, which he's not going to risk this early on. So I go for the Protect with Unavail. He's going to be able to get a Defog off for free, but in exchange I'm able to get a Wish Up for free. So I could either heal my Kamala up to full or try to get some momentum in. Now I'm going to go right into my Greninja here, just because, again, the only thing that I really don't want to stay in on is the Tangrowth. And if he stays in trying to like foul play or something with the Mana Buzz, or even if he switches out, not going to be able to get momentum in that regard. So he goes for the knockoff, doesn't do a whole lot. I'm going to be able to U-turn out and go into my Greninja, yes. So right here, I can try to set up some Toxic Spikes and then go for the taunt, so that way he cannot defog him away. So he's going to go into his Vaporeon here, which is fine. I guess take the Ice Beam or whatever move to get my Toxic Spikes up, which is nice. And at this point, I can taunt to prevent the Vaporeon from heal belling or wishing or doing any shenanigans like that. Now, at this point, I guess I could just go for the Dark Pulse if I had it, but I don't have Dark Pulse. So I'm going to switch to my Uxie, and I do this to try to take a Scald because my Kamala is fairly low, so I can take 2 Scalds pretty easily, U-turn out, or get rocks up and try to get momentum that way. But he actually makes a switch into Manda Buzz. A little bit weird. Maybe he was predicting me to go into Uxie there, but he is able to get a defog off, which I guess is nice. But if I stayed in with my Greninja and went for the Dark Pulse, I could have then taunted his Manda Buzz and it wouldn't do anything. So I don't know why he made that play, but I'm definitely okay with it. I'll be able to get Toxic Spikes up later on in the match. So I'm going to U-turn out of there and go into my Greninja and try to rinse and repeat. Now he's going to go for the defog. I'll get Toxic Spikes up and then I will taunt, and this Mana Buzz won't be able to do anything. I guess he could just continuously defog. That's not going to really accomplish anything. He gets rid of my Expert Belt, which really doesn't matter. And now I'm going to taunt to make sure he cannot defog my Toxic Spikes away. And as we can see here, he goes for the defog. So very cool. I'll be able to poison at least one thing on his team, maybe more. So he goes into Tangrowth here, so I just go for the Ice Beam just to hit what's in front of me. I'll be able to 2 KO the Amanda Buzz. I don't do it a whole lot to this Tangrowth because he has Assault Vest, which I'm not surprised at all. I'm going to go to my Kamala and kind of sacking it off because I know I'm not going to live 2 Giga Drains. But I also predict at this point, I guess if I wanted to try to save Kamala, I would wish here. But I'm going to predict that he's going to go into his Manda Buzz because I'm pretty sure he's okay with me getting a wish up in exchange for him defogging with Manda Buzz. So that's why I'm going to go for the U-turn rather than trying to wish up my Kamala because Kamala's done his job. I'm going to get out of there, go to my Tapu Koko, and threaten this whole team. He stays in this point. So normally, like at max special defensive, Manda Buzz is able to take a Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko, but because of Modest and Life Orb, he's not going to be able to take this hit, and he's not able to defog away that Toxic Spike, which is super, super nice. I'll be able to poison everything on his team, unless he has Air Balloon, which is great. So it goes into Zygarde here. A little bit of a weird play, just because I could have Hidden Power Ice, especially because I revealed him Life Orb, and I guess maybe based on the calc, I don't know if he knows I'm Modest or not, but I'm going to switch out regardless and sack my Kamala. I'm definitely fine with getting rid of that. And he goes for 1,000 arrows. And at this point, I'm going to go into my Yuxi. Actually, no, I go into Greninja. So I go into Greninja to basically get a kill. I can go for the Ice Beam on the Zygarde, which is pretty easy play. He can go into Vaporeon and get Toxic, and I can taunt that. He can go into Tangrowth and get worn down by Ice Beam, but I have pretty good switches into the Tangrowth at that range. So he does go into the Vaporeon, which I'm definitely okay with. I'm going to prevent him from getting a Wish Up if I can. So, as we can see here, I'm going to go for the taunt as he goes for the Scald, which is good. He's getting that chip damage onto my Greninja, but it's not that big of a deal yet. And I'm going to switch out of my Yuxi because I don't want to take any more damage on my Greninja. And as we see here, he goes for the switch into Tangrowth. So I am definitely okay with this. It's kind of a weird play because my Greninja would have 2-hit KO'd if I went for Ice Beam. But I guess he also figured I wasn't going to go for the Ice Beam on the Vaporeon, and I didn't want my Greninja to get any more weakened than it already was. But predicting him to predict me to go for Rocks again to weaken his Volcarona, I'm going to go for the U-turn because I do not want to give momentum and an opportunity to set up to the Diancie, the Volcarona, or the Zygarde. So I'm going to get out of there right away and go into my Tapu Koko. Now, after the poison damage, he's down to 78%. And the range for Thunderbolt to kill is 78 to 93%. So I would be able to knock it out if he's no bulk. If he is some bulk, he would be able to live this. So I really don't want to risk that if I don't have to, especially because Tapu Koko pretty much wrecks the rest of his team. So I'm going to just Volt Switch out of there. If he was Scarfed, so be it. And go into my Yuxi to really sack it off. I knew I was going to do enough damage to where at +1, even if he got a Quiver Dance off, he wouldn't be able to do much to my team. So he just kills my Yuxi, which is okay. It wasn't going to do a whole lot for the rest of this match, because I don't really need Rocks up. Now I'm going to just go into my Koko and go for the Thunderbolt or the Volt Switch. I go for the Volt Switch, but he goes into Zygarde, which is very risky play. I could have easily gone for a Dazzling Gleam or a Hidden Power Ice, but I guess he assumed I was going to go for Volt Switch to try to get momentum. So he goes to his Zygarde here, which is fine. And he kills me with 1,000 arrows because he's Scarfed. Now, I kind of figured there was a chance I knew that he was Scarfed for sure. 1 second. Yeah, so I knew there was a chance he was Scarfed earlier based on the way he switched into his Zygarde to revenge kill my Koko because Hidden Power Ice would have done a ton to it. So I was assuming there was a chance he was Scarfed. But I was okay with this because even if he is Scarfed, my Koko or my Hawlucha comes in and sets a Sword Stance up on this because Zygarde's not going to do a ton to a +1 defense Hawlucha. So it's a great chance for me to try to sweep endgame here. And based on the how weak the Vaporeon is, I should be able to sweep the rest of his team. So his Volcarona goes down, goes to his Vaporeon. At this range, I miss. So Acrobatics would not have killed from this range. It was like 66 to 78. So that would have been a little too risky, and I didn't want to get Scald Burn. So I had to go for the high jump kick there. But this is okay as long as Scald doesn't kill me, which it shouldn't because I'm bulky. So he goes for the Scald. Does not kill me, but gets the burn. Now, the combination of me missing and getting the burn was very bad. If I went for like the high jump kick and I didn't kill any Scald burning me, that would have been okay, because I still would have done a lot of damage to the rest of his team, and I could have still been at decent health, like 60-ish%. If I missed a high jump kick and he Scald and didn't burn me, I would have gone for the Drain Punch here, trying to scat out if he has Protect. And then at that point, I still felt like I would have been in pretty good shape in this match. That's why I missed a second high jump kick. Sure, Zygarde could have came in and revenge kill me with extreme speed, but I feel like I still would have had ways around that. So the fact that he also burned me here was very unfortunate. I'm forced to just go for a high jump kick because of burned Hawlucha. Going for a Drain Punch isn't going to do that much. So he goes for Protect and knocks out my Hawlucha. But I'm still in okay shape here with my Medicham. I can still win for sure, because I do have Bullet Punch for the NC. So going to Medicham here, go for the high jump kick. I do hit, and I do kill this Vaporeon, which is great. He goes into a Mega Diancie, assuming he would outspeed me, but I actually do have the Bullet Punch, so I'm able to also knock out this Mega Diancie. So it comes down to Zygarde and the Tangrowth. The Zygarde cannot kill me from full HP where I'm at, and he goes to his Tangrowth. The only way for me to win this game is to flinch the Tangrowth with Zen Headbutt, just because or crit with the high jump kick, but there's a better chance of me flinching with the Zen Headbutt than getting a high jump kick crit. Just because the amount of damage that he's going to do with Leaf Storm or Giga Drain to my Medicham will put me in a range where a Choice Scarf Zygarde is able to kill my Medicham. So I go for the Zen Headbutt, and do I get the flinch? I do not. And he goes for the Giga Drain. The health doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for the high jump kick here and kill his Tangrowth. And at this point, Zygarde will be able to kill my Medicham based on the HP I'm at again. So 1v2. And he's going to knock out my Medicham with 1,000 arrows. If he's Jolly, I have about a 25% chance to kill with my Greninja. If he's Adamant, then he 100% chance kills me. So the moment of truth goes to 1,000 arrows, gets a crit. Didn't matter if he was Jolly or Adamant. He knocks me out regardless. Of course, he said at the end of the game the crit didn't matter there, but it might have. It probably didn't matter. But yeah. It was another pretty hacksy game. Second game where I lost, basically because I missed high jump kick. This game kind of was also attributed to a Scald Burning in conjunction with high jump kick miss, but it happens when you run a move. So I went 2-2 plus 2, kind of a bit of a bummer run, but I actually do advance, believe it or not, past pools. I guess, no pun intended, went undefeated with a lot of hacks in all his games, basically. And then somebody went 0-4, and I think there were 3 people at 2-2, and I had the best differential. So I actually make it past pools, so I'm pretty excited about that. Kind of stinks that Chris didn't make it through, but that's all right. Well, I'll try to avenge his hacks that he got throughout all his games. Yeah, I'm kind of very surprised I made it past pools, but let's see how well I do in the round of 64. It's a whole new game. It's a whole new slate there, and I feel like I still have a good chance to win with this team. But until next time, later, guys.